Hello, this is Jilly from Jilly's Creative Corner. Today I'm going to share with you an idea that I learnt probably about 7-8 years ago. It's a lady in America called Connie Stewart designed these cards called flashcards, and it's making a card with a minimum amount of paper. It was such a fabulous idea because at the time when I first started with Stampin' Up, I actually had seriously broken my leg and I was in bed laid up, bored, and one of my friends suggested looking at Connie Stewart's website at her flashcards, because it took minimal amount of product. When you're trying to work from your bed, you don't need a lot of product around you. So I had a look and it was a fabulous idea. The only difference is that American cardstock, A4 cardstock is a different size to the American A4 cardstock. So the idea is to get as many pieces of cardstock to make the flashcards out of one A4 sheet as you can. So it's very, very cost effective. And because our paper was bigger, I wanted to do my own measurements. So I'm going to show you today how to cut the cardstock, an A4 sheet, into 8, so that you can have 8 coloured pieces of cardstock, and in a basic white I'm going to cut another 8, so that would be the toppers. And then here's 4 of the cards that I made out of it. So this was the first one I made out of it, and this was the second one. So these were both in portrait. Then I did 2 in landscape, and then 2 in landscape. So you make your base card, but to decorate it you just need 1 each of those pieces, and I'll show you how. And I used this bundle. This is brushed blooms from the new mini catalogue, and I cut out the flowers with the cut out pieces there. But I'll show you how to do all that in this video. But first of all, I'm going to show you how to cut the paper. Because I've already cut 1 sheet of the bumblebee, this time I'm going to use Gorgeous Grape, and this is basic white, and this is not the thick one. The thick one the thick basic white I use as my base card. For decoration, the ordinary basic white is fine. So I'll just bring in my trimmer. So you bring this in at 5 5/8. So for anybody who doesn't, all the long ones is 1/8. So you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's the halfway, and the next long one is 5/8. So you're going to put that in and cut it at 5/8. Put that to one side. Just put this one along at 5/8. And then these go at every 2 inches, so you pop these in. there's 4, and then this one will make another 4. So there's your 8. That will decorate 8 cards. That's in the one colour, and the only waste on that was that. It's the only waste, and actually this one's probably wide enough to what is it? It's about 3/8 of an inch, so you could probably use that. These are probably just the waste bits, I'm sure. Maybe even on that clutch bag, I bet you we could have used some of that. Yeah. So the clutch bag that I made on my last video, you could use that. So even that could be used. Put that aside. So with the Whisper White, we come in at 5.5 because you want to have a little border around. So 5.5. And then 1 7/8, so that's the long line before the 2, not the smaller line, but the longer line before the 2. So that's your 8 basic whites, which will sit on top of your colour. So just 2 pieces of cardstock, one of white and one of a colour, is going to give you 8 flash cards. So that will give you 8 cards for you to make. If you buy your base cards in, then you know this will just sit on top of your base cards that you buy in. To make your base card to go with these flash cards, so to make my base card, I will use basic white thick cardstock from Stampin Up, and I will bring that in at just slightly before the 5 7/8. Cut it in half, so that gives you 2 cards, and then put it on the long side, and at 4 1/8 I'll bring my scoring blade in and score. So there's your card. That will be your flash card. So that will make you, that's all I had, and my inks and my bundle. But as in cardstock, that's all you need, and you can make beautiful cards with just that. So if you had some of these prepared and somebody's birthday had come up and you'd forgotten, you can just quickly grab your base card. I'll show you exactly how to decorate it. I'm just going to put this one in. 4 1/8. Scroll So on the basic white A4 sheet, you've just got these spare. You can use, but you could still use those for labels, punch out some labels out of these pieces. And you've only got this spare on the coloured cardstock. And that gets you 8 cards. So today I'm going to show you how to do this one. So I'm going to bring in so this is my base card that I made using the basic white thick cardstock. So folded it in half. So this is the colours I've chosen to use today. So this one is the Gorgeous Grape, and this is the cardstock that we're going to be using. And I wanted to bring in just a subtler shade. So Gorgeous Grape is from the Brights family in Stampin' Up ink, and this is Highland Heather, and this is from the Subtles family, but they complement each other really well. So that's the darker one, that's the Gorgeous Grape, and this is the Highland Heather, and I just love the way they just complement each other. So I'm going to bring in my base card first. So this is the bundle I'm going to be using. I'm going to be using the large flower, and that's going to be in the Gorgeous Grape, the darker colour, and then the smaller flower I'm going to stamp in the Highland Heather. I'm also going to use this stamp to do some fill-in bits. I'm going to use this stamp as well, this one, for my forever friend, happy birthday. So I'm going to make it exactly like that one, but in the Highland Heather and the Gorgeous Grape colour combination. So first of all, I'm going to bring in the bigger flower. I'm going to do that. I'm just going to pop that one out the way because I make a mess. I'm going to ink it up, and then randomly then we're going to just stamp. So this is the bigger of the flowers. So you don't have to be all on the page. It can be off the page. So a bit off the page there. Then I'm just going to pop that to one side, just make sure. I'm going to bring in the smaller flower now, and with the Highland Heather, and fill in. Don't forget, some of this is actually going to be covered. So I just put that there. What I do then is I just bring in my cardstock and see if that's going to go in the middle. Just going to check. Yep, that's fine. So now I'm going to bring in my little stamp. It's got little spots on it. So just gently ink that up. Just put some little dots around. And just pop it in the other colour as well. Pop it on the edges. Don't have to worry too much because in the middle bits, because that is going to be covered. So I'm just going to put this on just to make sure it's how I want it to be. Yep, that's fine. Okay, so I'm just going to pop that to one side now. So you have your This is your flashcard, coloured cardstock. And now what we're going to do is we're going to make these flowers. So you bring in the smaller flower. Just to show you, you can actually bring in the larger flower as well. I just didn't want to. That fits perfectly. What you're planning to do is you're going to stamp, but stamp in the middle so that the very outer edge is always free. You're not going to cut out that outer edge. That is always going to be free, so this piece covers it. So whatever we take out of this piece will be covered by this. So you can, you have room to use the large stamp. You have plenty of room. Just stamp it in the middle and just down from the edge. And you could probably get 3 out, but I want to use the smaller one. I'm just going to ink that up. Stamp it there. Just put that to one side a minute. So this is the framelit that you need, the smaller framelit. Because you need to cut them out one at a time because you've only got one framelit. So you stamp one. So you bring in your cut and emboss mini, bring in your plate number 1, plate number 2, your cardstock, then your framelit. So then you fit your framelit around your flower. Then you pop your second plate number 2 on top. So you hold it tight. I've took the paper away because it slips on my paper. So then you roll it through. There's your flower number 1. Let's pop that to the side. So then you come in and you stamp the second flower. So you can stamp your second flower. So now you stamped your second flower. You're going to again put it in your sandwich. Put your framelit on top. Put your second one on top of there. So now you put your second flower through. Your second one, and you want one more. So just ink that up once more, stamp it there. And do exactly the same for the 3rd time. Now, all the other ones that I did, I got everything out of so for instance, when I did this one, I got 1 big flower, 1 small flower, and I got 3 little flowers, all out of one of these. As long as you leave yourself an edge all the way round, so that you can cover it with this piece of paper, then you use every little bit that you can. So this is going to be my 3rd and final flower now. there's your 3 flowers, and you've taken it out of this piece of paper. As you can see, you can get some little flowers in there, and if you put these more together, you could get more flowers out, but I only needed the 3. So you can make these flashcards with anything, as long as the framelit or the punch, whatever you choose to use, if you've got punches, as long as you can leave a gap all the way, an edge all the way round, so this piece covers it, then you can cut as much out of here as you like, and nobody will see because it will be covered like that. Just pop that to one side now, and those 3 flowers to one side a moment. Right, so I'm going to bring this piece of paper in now, because we're using landscape. So I'm going to first of all bring in for my forever friend. I also did one, this one I did for my forever friend, but I put just because you know, sometimes it's nice just to send a note to somebody. It doesn't have to be a birthday or, you know, a special occasion. You can just send your friend a note just because, you know, you want them to know you're thinking of them. And this stamp set has got so many good, it's very versatile, because it does have the happy birthday, but it also has the for my forever friend, so you can add the happy birthday to that, or just because, which I did. Or there's this one, let's paint the town as long as I'm home by 9. It doesn't actually say 9 AM or PM, so you could take that any way you like. And also there's You Deserve It. So there's some nice sentiments on there. So again, it's a very versatile stamp set. I'm going to ink up the Gorgeous Grape, the darker of the 2, and use that one for my forever friend. Make sure I've got everything covered. And then in the lighter shade, I'm going to put Happy Birthday. So just line that up. And bring that in. I want to bring in and do these lines here. So I just want to decide. So what I did was, because these inks, you can get almost 3 colours out of with Stampin' Up inks. Because with this one, that's the full colour. That's it stamped off. That's the full colour. That's it stamped off. So I had the best of both worlds. Then I'm going to bring in this stamp here and decorate the sides. So I'm going to bring, first of all, I'm going to bring in Gorgeous Grape in the full colour. So this is the Gorgeous Grape in the full colour. I'm going to bring that, it's hard to see when I put my head into the camera. Then pull it out a little bit. That's the second colour, so that's the full colour, that's the second colour. So I'm going to pop this back in. Just line it up and then I'll get my head out of the way. So that's the full colour. Then I'm going to bring it back a bit. That's the second colour. Then I'm going to come in with Highland Heather. So this is Highland Heather. This will be coming in with the first colour. So this will be the full. I'm going to stamp that up because otherwise I'll get a double line on it. I'll just stamp that off and come in with the full colour. So that's the full colour and that's the second colour. And then I'm just going to come back in over this side and do exactly the same. So this will be the full, so by my head, that will be the full colour. And then this will be the second colour. I think that just finishes it off. What I did was it's Gorgeous Grape, the same as that, but it's stamped off twice. So it just finishes that little bit off at the top. I think cards are such a work in progress because you get an idea and then you put it down, you go, I could change that up a little bit. I always tell my classes when I was allowed them face to face, there's no such thing as wrong in craft and in creativity. It's just you weren't expecting it to be like that, but you like it like that, so this is how it's going to be. So that's finished that now. So this piece here, I'm going to bring this in, and then with my liquid glue, I'm not going right to the very edge because it'll splidge out. We don't want it to splidge out. So we're just going to put just a line along there, bring a line down there, and then bring some glue in these bits here. Then you're going to bring in your basic white piece and you're going to pop it over. And with liquid glue it gives you a bit of wriggle room, so there you go. So now you can't see that you've cut pieces out the back. So that now is going to bring the card base back in, and I'm going to pop that in the middle of there. So again, I wouldn't put it in there, the liquid glue, I would put it on just the coloured cardstock because it's higher, so it's not going to really achieve very much. So I would, again, don't put it right to the very, very edges because it'll squidge out and then you've got to try and get it off, which is a bit of a faff. Used to be able to get glue rubbers. They were amazing, but I know Stampin' Up have stopped doing them now. I don't know if you can get them anywhere else, but they are amazing and they do work. So I'm going to bring the card in, pop it down roughly the middle, and basically so that you've got the same sort of width there and there. So there's that bit there, and now we want to just bring our, now because they're quite flat at the moment, I do try and just work them a bit with my, just to break down the fibres of the paper, just so it gives a bit of a, never seen a completely flat flower in my life anyway. So it just gives it a bit of a curl, a bit of an edge to it. So I'm just bringing my dimensionals in. I'm going to pop these up on dimensionals. So just probably put a couple on. So let me just see where I want them. I want one there and there. Yeah, so I think I'll pop one up there. And that. Oh, don't like that. Pop it. Pop it there. Put that one there, and just to finish it off with this one, I used the champagne rhinestones. So I'm actually going to come in with the silver ones with this colour. I think it's nice. In my pokey tool, I think I'll go with the medium size. On the rhinestones you get the smaller ones and the medium ones and then large ones. I think I'll go. So this is an example of what you can do with flashcards. You can pretty much use any punch or framelits and stamps. All you have to bear in mind is that everything fits in this area here, and you leave probably about 1/8 of an inch gap, maybe just over, all the way around, just so this piece of cardstock then will sit over the top and you won't know that all out of there's been cut out. So this bundle works perfectly because even the big flower will sit in there perfectly with lots of area to spare. So you could probably get two big ones, a small one, like I did with these two. Out of this piece of paper, the cardstock, I got one big flower, one small flower, and these 3 little ones. So it's just how you fit it onto here. Bear in mind when you stamp, the framelit will go slightly outside the area, so don't stamp too many really close together because you'll struggle getting the framelit around it. But that's how easy and really versatile these flashcards are, and very cost effective because you've pretty much made that whole card. Obviously you need your base card. So these are the examples I made out of the bumblebee. So these were the landscape ones. And then these were the portrait ones, all exactly the same size. So these flashcards are all exactly the same size. It just depends whether you turn them to portrait or to landscape, and how little or how much you want to decorate them. It's completely down to your own inspiration. I hope this has given you a bit of inspiration. Don't forget you can also stamp a little flower and a sentiment inside your card as well. So obviously these measurements are for the UK market. If anybody is looking at my video from the US, then you would need to follow the guidelines for measurements from Connie Stewart, because she does it for your sized A4 sheets. This is for the UK. I'm not sure about Europe, but this is the UK sized A4 paper. So I hope you've enjoyed watching this video. I would love it if you made some flashcards, and it would be great if you could share the pictures with me and my comments, or tag me in your Instagram if you can do that. I'm not sure, I'm just learning Instagram at the moment. So I hope you've enjoyed watching these flashcard creations I've made. If you have, it would be great if you could subscribe to my channel and like the project. So thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.